How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, and I'm going to do another 6 horror films to either watch or avoid. Now, the first one here is a film called Abattoir, and it's from the director of Saw 2, 3, and 4. Um, there's the front, there's the back. Now, this film also has the old lady from the Insidious films, and having a director from Saw 2, 3, and 4 would lead you to believe that this would be a really, really good film. But I don't know, it kind of fell flat for me. The character building wasn't all that great. I didn't really care what happened to half of them. It was just kind of odd. Um, what happens in this is this woman's family kind of gets murdered, and I don't think they really show how it happens. But anyways, that's not the weirdest part. After their friends, after the friend who has the family that gets murdered goes back and visits the crime scene, the entire room that the murders took place in has been stripped and looks like it's like been almost cut out of the house. And she's just kind of like, what the fuck? So basically, she ends up having to go investigate, as you always do when shit goes weird in a horror movie. You just gotta investigate and find out what happened. And basically, she goes to the cops just to try and figure out what's going on. They don't fucking know why it's been taken out of there. The cop starts getting involved, and he's like, "Hey, where the fuck's my crime scene at?" You know. So then the friend of the family that gets murdered, ends up going to the real estate person and be like, "Hey, why is this room missing?" and whatever. And basically, he's a little sketchy about it. He's not wanting to talk about why it's missing, but he obviously knows something. And yeah, they basically have to dig back and go find out why some other murders have happened and why the crime scenes are missing from it. And um, they go to this other town where the friend of the family that got murdered originally grew up in, and she finds out that there is some sort of huge school fire and killed a lot of kids, but a lot of that scene was stripped down, missing too, and it just kind of gets weird. And by weird, I mean she finds that old lady from Sinister in it, and she tries to explain something, but she's a little, fucked up in the head, so the way she explains it's really weird and doesn't help too much. And then she finds out the old lady is her mother. Yeah, go figure. Spoilers, by the way, if you decide to watch this. But yeah, it's long story short, this creepy old guy, who may or may not be the devil in it, I don't know, has stolen all these crime scene places to make his own mansion in the middle of the woods in this old town that she's from. And he's like harvested the souls and all the supernatural rage and emotions that have built up in these crime scenes, to make a abattoir. And she goes there and tries to figure out how to, I don't know, stop him or like get her sister's soul back. I don't know. It's kind of convoluted and just horribly written. Uh, if you got nothing else to watch, maybe watch this. It's not scary. It's not really suspenseful because it fails to keep you interested in what the fuck is going on half the time. The acting isn't that great. The main actress who plays in it's kind of attractive. Maybe that'd be the only reason you'd watch this, but for something that has the old lady from Sinister and produced by, a couple of the Saw films, I don't know what the fuck happened, but yeah, this is like a 4 out of 10. So I don't know if it's like $2 in a used section, maybe go check it out. But that's Abattoir. Next, This this is minutes past midnight. Basically, a bunch of kind of horror short films, um, starring Arthur Darvill from Doctor Who, Jason Fleming from Snatch and X-Men First Class, and Barbara Steele from Black Sunday, whatever the fuck that is. Um, it looked better in the trailer. Let's just say that it looked a lot more interesting in the trailer. The 5 or 6 short films in this seemed like they would be worth checking out. Um, if you like the Horror Masters series of horror films, they suggest you might like this, but uh, it wasn't that great at all. I didn't really enjoy any of the stories that were in this. The acting was pretty bad. The short story with the bunny was really weird too. It's not worth your money. It really isn't, not in my opinion. As a horror fan, I'm never gonna be able to sell this to anyone. Maybe for a toonie, but yeah, this is like a 3. Like maybe a 2.5 or a 3 out of 10. It was worse than Abattoir, and none of the short films were all that good. Like, and the acting was garbage. So yeah, avoid that one. Avoid Abattoir unless you've got nothing else to watch. All right, the third one. This is Silent Retreat. This came with one of our horror blocks that we got. I don't know. It's not that good either, unfortunately. Basically, these juvenile delinquent type young girls end up going to this silent retreat where they're supposed to just, I don't know, meditate and not talk as their punishment, and try to kind of reform themselves through silence therapy and meditation, and just no technology or phones or anything like that. About the camp, I guess spoiler, has been taken over by kind of like these criminal type people, and the actual camp counselors are dead, and the people that's running it isn't really who's supposed to be running it, obviously. And on top of that, not only are these kind of abusive criminal type people that have taken over the camp and killed the counselors, like treating these women badly and doing like stuff that they really shouldn't be doing, there's also a creature in the woods. Of course there is. Some sort of like Wendigo type creature, and they keep alluding to it being out in the forest, and some of the females are young ladies that get, they're in this camp who act out and like talk and fight and cause ruckus and just annoy the counselors, these fake counselors. Basically get left out in the woods, and the Wendigo or whatever eats them. And the thing is, the Wendigo, I'm just going to call it that. I don't know if that's what the beast actually is in this, but it's pretty much seems to be that way. Can only get you if you make noise. So if you make too much noise, it can hear you and it comes and kills you. So yeah, they just leave them tied to a tree and let the girls scream and the Wendigo eat them. So, the main actress in this kind of finds a way to stop, or well, finds a way to figure out what's going on, and figures out they're not actually the counselors and that they're criminals, and that people have been there for a lot longer than they're supposed to have been there, and that they're doing some weird brainwashing thing to them. I'm not exactly sure. They might be sex slaves. I don't think that was quite made clear. And then eventually shit goes to hell. She fucks with their plan. The Wendigo ends up breaking into the camp, and one by one they get picked off. Like, it was all right, but I was expecting more. I mean, Just look at the front cover. You would expect more gore and creepiness, and the back kind of prologue or description of what the movie is makes it sound a lot better. And it's an After Dark Film Festival movie, so I don't know. And it was okay. It was a hell of a lot better than Abattoir and Minutes Past Midnight. So I'm gonna say a 5 out of 10. I was expecting more, and considering it's an all-girl, camp, you'd think you'd see some all-girl action, if you know what I mean. But no, no, you get slightly teased that maybe something like that going on, but then they shut that shit down, and you're like, fuck, why am I even watching this movie at this point then? But yeah, it was alright. It's Silent Retreat, 5 out of 10. Alright, what do we got here? The next film is from the makers of the Blair Witch Project and the Lord of the Rings. So that would make you think that it's probably going to be fairly good, because the Lord of the Rings was at least well produced and everything like that. Let's try to figure out what else here. Haxon Films, Image Entertainment. So nothing really big. Anyways, I'll give you the synopsis of this. This is called Lovely Molly. The wife and I had this on our kind of like to get list for a while. And yeah, we just kind of stumbled upon it and we're like, hey, we finally found a copy, so we're going to pick it up. But anyways, it says, when newlywed Molly Reynolds moves back into her family home, memories of her nightmarish childhood creep into her new life. Soon she begins to experience terrifying, impossible things, the work of a demonic force lurking somewhere in the darkness. Molly slowly drifts towards madness, unable to escape the evil force that will stop at nothing to claim her soul. I guess, I guess that's sort of what's going on. But what they fail to tell you is that she's an ex-heroin addict, and she ends up kind of getting stressed out and freaked out by the paranormal activities that only she can see, because you don't really see anything, and the boyfriend's like, what the fuck, because he doesn't see anything either. So needless to say, she relapses and starts doing more heroin, starts smoking up pot as well, and then she starts seeing, or trying to see, this priest or something about it, trying to get help, I think, but then she's kind of fucked up on heroin and going, like, she's losing her mind. So then she starts like hitting on the priest and starts like trying to show him her snatch, and he's like, I gotta go, you crazy bitch. So yeah, he ends up leaving, needless to say, because fuck that shit. And then just it gets weirder. She starts doing more fucked up shit. The boyfriend tries to intervene, only to get like his lips bitten off, and she ends up running into the forest, and he doesn't know what the fuck to do. So he ends up going to the hospital, and then while she's gone to the hospital, or while he's gone to the hospital, she comes back to the cabin. The priest comes back. For some reason, she answers the door fully fucking naked, and the priest's like, alright, I guess I'll have some of that ass. And he goes inside the cabin, and, well, this shit goes really, really bad for him. Yeah, that needless to say, his ass is dead. And by the end of the movie, you're kind of like, what the fuck is actually going on? Because you don't see anything. Like, you don't see what she's seeing. You see her freaking out. You see, like, she's carrying around a like little videotape, and it doesn't show anything except her freaking out, making noises and just rumbling going on. And at the very fucking end of the film, you kind of see her walk off into the woods, and some sort of devil, demon, shadow figure take her hand, and that's it. You're like, what? Like, spoiler, by the way, but what? I don't know. Maybe I missed something once again, but I try to pay attention when I watch these films, and nothing. It seems like someone fucking tripping out on drugs and fucking their life up, and just, you're supposed to believe that it's supernatural, and that's why. Anyways, needless to say, I wasn't as impressed as I thought I was going to be with this film. It's still alright. It's still like a good mystery and a psychological kind of what the fuck is actually happening, and you have to sit there and kind of go, okay, like, but not bad. 6.5 out of 10. Definitely check this one out and give me your thoughts on it, or if you've already seen it, let me know if I'm missing the point or whatever. But let me know what your thoughts on this one is. It's interesting. All right, this number 5. This one was interesting too. Not too much happens in this, but anyways, this is Starry Eyes. This came in another horror block. This one's pretty easy to describe. What happens is this young lady on the cover here is a striving to be actress. She's trying to get a role in this one film with this fairly big name company, and she tries out. It doesn't work out for her, and they're kind of really snobby and dicky to her. So she like kind of freaks out, goes to the washroom, and just like she starts like yanking her hair out and like doing really weird like self-punishment stuff. And then one of the auditioneers, this creepy old lady, is like in the washroom as she's ending her little fit, and she's like, "I see what you did there. Can you do it again?" And you're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" So, anyways, she ends up going back to the audition room, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to see you throw that fit, throw it again, yeah." And she's like, okay, I don't really do this in front of people, and I'm kind of embarrassed about this, and you know, my self-harming thing because of not getting what I want, and you know, I'm a prissy bitch, and that's what we do. We hurt ourselves when we don't get what we want. Anyways, she ends up like throwing this even bigger fit and like being even weirder. It looks like she's getting possessed, and like I don't know, it's just really weird. So anyways, like, yeah, cool, you know, we'll call you. She's kind of stoked, but she's also really fucking weirded out that they wanted to see that. So anyway, she goes home. Shit's, you know, mostly cool. And she tells her friends, yeah, I think I might got the part. You get the part, whatever. And some of her friends are kind of like C or D movie level actresses and actors, and they don't really do much. They don't really have that big of parts in anything. And she thinks she's getting somewhere. Uh, Anyways, she goes back. She gets like hit on by the big boss of this film, who wants to see, I guess, if she'll do some sexual favors to get the part, which is gross. And if you're ever considering, you know, getting into acting and someone asks you to do that, fuck them. Don't do sexual favors to get the movie part. That's just disgusting, and that shit should not even happen anymore. You should be hired based on your acting chops and your merit and your hard work. So there's my little after Sunday afternoon special for you. Anyways, she says no at first, and she's like, "Fuck that," and she's like slaps the guy's hand off her lap, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." But then she goes home and she's like kind of like, maybe I should have. This could have been my big break. And then her friends are like, "No, you shouldn't have done it. You did the right thing by walking out of there." And then like the film kind of progresses, and she sees that her friends are still fucking going nowhere, and they're not doing it. They're not living the dream, you know. So she's like, "Well, I guess I could take a little bit of old man cock in my mouth. It'll get me somewhere. I guess, you know, what's a little wrinkly dick in your mouth?" But she goes back. She does it. She gives the man a good old Hummer, and she thinks she's got the spot. She doesn't feel very well afterwards, but she thinks she's got the spot. You know, she only had to take one load in her mouth, and now she's gonna become a star. Yay! Anyways, it goes really downhill for her after that. She may have got the spot, but then she starts getting like sores. She starts getting like really sick. She starts losing her hair. Like she's fucking dying or some shit. Like it's not just like herpes, the gift that keeps on giving. It's like it's terrible. She like starts corpsifying, and yeah, it's the ending gets pretty gruesome and weird, and it you know, it was all right. And I definitely recommend checking this one out. Um, 7 out of 10. Definitely the better horror block film for sure. But yeah, Starry Eyes. All right, and the last one. Just got finished watching this like an hour ago. This one is called The Evil in Us. It's a Canadian film. I think it was filmed in British Columbia, maybe not. Mm, doesn't say. No. But anyways, it was filmed in Canada. Canadian film, I believe. And it's pretty good. It says a rabid cross of cabin fever and 28 days later. Cabin fever meets Evil Dead in the stylish blood-soaked sci-fi horror. Um, yeah, it was a really good film, actually. I really enjoy this. That's a fairly accurate description of the film, actually. 28 days later, cabin fever, Evil Dead. Basically, a group of friends go up to the cabin on an island just to celebrate, the 4th of July. Have some recreational drugs, get a little high, have some beers, take some Jamaican random happy juice liquor that one of the friends had on one of his travels and brought back with him. Uh, which it's, whatever. People have their vices, and they were gonna have a good time. But then, one of the guys named Wheeler decides to throw in some cocaine, and then people start getting really fucked up, and there's some kind of, oh, you slept with this person drama, and that, like just typical bullshit drama. Um, but behind the scenes, there is some kind of umbrella corporation type company, B movie style, because they couldn't afford like the giant hive. So it's just kind of like this small little room thing. But yeah, they start testing this drug on some patients. They're going a little fucked up in the head. They go like a little rage infueled. Their eyeballs start to get like bloodshot and red. And then they start getting violent and turn into like kind of just mindless, raging cannibal type creatures. Well, not creatures. They're still human. They don't, change form or anything. But yeah, they get violent. They get bitey. uh, and apparently there's some sort of psychotropical drug that spreads this virus, and now Wheeler has now spread it to all his friends on the island. So they pick each other off one by one, and it just goes to hell. This goes to hell for them. There's a lot of chunks being taken out of people. There's some limbs being removed. Goddamn, it's a gore fest for sure. Definitely want to check this one out. Was nowhere on my radar. Just kind of saw it at Walmart and we're like, damn, this sounds good. And it was. This one's probably like for cabin in the woods type of films and gore. I'd say 8.5 out of 10. This is probably the best in this entire pile. Go check out The Evil in Us. You will not be disappointed, no matter what kind of horror fan you are. Really good film. The intro to the film was kind of weird, but once you get past the weird intro with them just kind of like bathing in blood as like a sequence, it actually kicks into the story. But yeah, it's not really a zombie outbreak. I don't know why they say it's a zombie outbreak. They kind of behave like zombies, but they're not dead. And then, like, after 24 hours, they actually return to normal. And then they kind of see, like, what they've done. Like, oh my god, what have I done? So it's like that aftermath of kind of headfuckery too. So it's really good. Definitely check that out. That's been another 6 films to either watch or avoid. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you see something new. I hope I've turned your head towards something really cool and maybe warned you to stay away from some stuff that's just basically going to waste your time. Stay sick, my friends, and keep it horrific.